In the second episode of the candlestick pattern series, we are going to explore a pattern called inverted hammer. In case you missed the first episode where I talk a little bit about the standard hammer, you can access the video in the video card in the top right corner. It's interesting that you also watch the complete candlestick course I posted here in the channel a while ago called The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Candlestick Patterns. This free course will give you an overview of most relevant candlestick patterns and their basic logical interpretation. In this new series with many different episodes, we are going to dive a little deeper into these patterns individually. Before we move on, you should understand that all videos in the channel are made for educational purposes only. So without further ado, let's begin talking about the inverted hammer. The inverted hammer is known to be a bullish reversal pattern, meaning that it usually appears when price is going down to signal a reversal to the upside. In this sense, this pattern is equal to the standard hammer, but the difference dwells in the pattern itself. The inverted hammer is formed by one candlestick only, and this candle has a small bullish body that sits in the lower range, which also implies an upper tail or upper shadow. If you remember the last episode where I talked about the standard hammer, you will recall that the hammer has a small bullish body that sits in the upper range, therefore implying a lower tail or lower shadow. That's the only difference between the two patterns. Going a little deeper into the logical interpretation of the inverted hammer, we notice that this pattern is a weaker signal than the standard hammer because we have signs of selling pressure as well as buying pressure. The upper tail or upper shadow implies that there was selling pressure at some point in the creation of the candlestick. However, the small bullish body implies that there was buying pressure as well, and this buying pressure was enough to hold the selling pressure coming from above. In summary, the inverted hammer opens in its lower range, then price travels all the way to the candle high. After that, selling pressure starts to appear to bring price back down. This is the important point of the pattern because as the selling pressure starts to bring price down, buyers are able to hold this pressure and still create a bullish body. For practical purposes, this means that despite the presence of selling pressure outlined by the upper tail or upper shadow, buyers are still strong enough to hold the selling pressure and finalize the candlestick with a persistent bullish body. Another important detail to pay attention to is that the inverted hammer can also sometimes be an inside candle, meaning that the whole pattern will be inside the range of the last candle. In the Japanese candlestick methodology, this is called a harami position and implies a temporary break in price movement. All of that suggests that price is slowing down its movement to the downside and buying pressure is beginning to show more strength than selling pressure. This is the logic behind the inverted hammer pattern. Let's now observe a few different examples of how the inverted hammer appears in real price charts to understand its nuances in greater detail. This 1-hour chart from Apple, we can see a few different examples of inverted hammers. Some of them are even pushing the theoretical boundaries of what an inverted hammer really is. The reason I'm showing you this is for you to understand how these candles are malleable, and how one candlestick pattern can change its shape quite a bit to the point where it becomes subjective which pattern we are talking about. This is precisely why I always say that it's much better to learn how to interpret candle bodies and candle tails instead of memorizing Japanese names. The first inverted hammer on the left has a larger candle body than what is expected from this pattern, and a small lower tail as well. We can see that the market indeed reversed to the upside immediately after the pattern. A larger candle body like this one implies a stronger buying pressure, turning the inverted hammer into a stronger bullish signal. However, the candle body cannot be much greater than that, because in that situation, we would not be talking about an inverted hammer anymore. The pattern in the middle of the chart can also be classified as an inverted hammer, but this one is pushing the theoretical boundaries quite a bit. Some might argue that this is actually a spinning bottom. However, the upper and lower tails are a bit asymmetrical, and the candle body seems to be too large for a spinning bottom. As I said, you oftentimes encounter situations like this where it's not really clear which patterns we are dealing with. With that said, this pattern has the same underlying logical interpretation of an inverted hammer. The candle opened in its lower range, went up, and then sellers tried to push it down. However, buyers appear and finish the candle with a bullish body. For this to be a textbook inverted hammer, the candle body should be sitting a little bit lower. We can also see that the pattern in the middle pointed to a bullish reversal. The third pattern on the right is a more textbook inverted hammer despite having a small lower tail. Once again, this serves to show that the candle shapes are not rigid, and there is a margin for differences in the candle body size and the appearance or absence of upper and lower tails. This pattern also pointed to a bullish reversal right after. In the second chart, we have the 2-hour crude oil. On the left, we have a textbook inverted hammer that led to a bullish reversal, and on the right, we have another inverted hammer that failed completely. Candlestick patterns like this can fail for no apparent reason, even though they fit the theoretical definition. This is why it's important to combine candlestick patterns with other techniques to achieve the best results. One interesting detail about these two inverted hammer patterns is that both of them are in the harami position. More practical traders will call this an inside bar, which is when the candlestick is completely contained in the range of the previous candle, therefore showing a temporary break in the advance of price to the downside in this case. The pattern on the left worked perfectly, but the pattern on the right failed completely. Once again, there is no apparent reason why some patterns work and others fail, so the best results will be achieved when the candlestick pattern technique is applied in alignment with other techniques. It's all a matter of increasing your chances of capturing high probability reversal points in price. Candlestick patterns is just one out of many of these techniques. To finish, I would like to point out that it's easier to use the hammer pattern instead of the inverted hammer, simply because the hammer is a stronger sign of reversal. That's it for this video. In the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the shooting star, which is a bearish reversal pattern. If you want to take your trading to the next level and access high quality trading education, please visit my website fractalflowpro.com in the link available in the video description. If you enjoy the material I create, please help support the channel by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, activating the notifications, sharing the video, and leaving your feedback below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Take care.